الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. So I'm going to give you something that I hope that you can use and it's something of value. Before I begin, let me apologize for the graininess of this video. I am working very hard on getting the right kind of video equipment, but the good thing about this is that I won't be showing my face for long because I have something on my screen I want to share with you. Okay, and so that will give you the value that I hope you're going to take from this. So before I do that, just a few words. Many of us who are saving to make Hijrah or want to save to make Hijrah, you want to, leave the land of the disbelievers and you want to travel and you want to migrate and so forth. Or you just want to learn you just want to figure out how to kind of stop being behind the eight ball. And what I describe that as is, you're basically working from paycheck to paycheck. Sometimes it's enough, sometimes it's barely enough, sometimes it's not enough at all. And you try as you might, you can't seem to get on top of your money. And there's a reason for this. Our mindset right now is that we work for the money. We work for our money. And on face value, that sounds logical. It sounds like it's a given. But when you're working for your money, your money becomes your employer. And so you have to do everything that your money dictates that you do in order to live the way that you need to live. Does that make sense? So if your money says you can't take off today, I need you at work, you go into work because your money is the one that's your employer and it's making you do what you need to do in order to get that thing from your money. Your money tells you, listen, if you go to your daughter's play at school, you're going to miss 5 or 6 hours. They may replace you or something like that, or you're going to come up short on the rent. You're going to come up short on your utilities. The electric is due. You already have a cutoff notice. So you already have a high balance or something like that. You get the idea, right? So you're constantly working for the money. We have to change that narrative. In these days, you guys, there are lots of things we're going to have to change in our mindset because we're working with, I'll call it what it is. We're working with antiquated formulas. We're working with formulas that were around when my grandmother was alive, or my great great grandmother was alive, or even my mother was alive. Those formulas don't work in our day and time because we're constantly moving and progressing, constantly. So we have to now turn the narrative around to make our money work for us. So, real quick background. I remember when I first came into Islam some time ago. I, not so much, but a little bit, I, like a lot of people, thought that when I saw Muslims, especially Arab Muslims, Muslims of Arabic descent, um, I thought that, like many people, oh, they have a lot of money. And a lot of people still think that. They think that, okay, when you see an Arab, if he says he's from Saudi Arabia, or from Qatar, or Kuwait, or wherever, okay, and even some of our brothers from Pakistan and from India, they have money. Bangladesh, they have money, okay. But at that time, when I came into Islam, I, like a lot of people during that time, didn't know the difference between an Arab and an Asian, a Sikh and a Muslim. You just didn't know, Palestinian and an Egyptian. You just didn't know. Just like in my neighborhood where I grew up, many people couldn't tell a Korean from a Japanese, from a Chinese to a Malaysian. It's just what it is. So I had that stereotype. I had that stereotype impression that, okay, he's Arab, he got money. In some cases, this is true. In a lot of cases, it's not. I'll tell you what's happening. When I was blessed to go over to uh, Bahrain and then Saudi Arabia, really in Saudi Arabia, it became apparent to me. I remember going inside of a shop and I was with my wife at the time, and I said we wanted to get internet. So um, when we went to the kiosk inside the mall, I forget what provider it was, maybe Zane or somebody like that. I don't know. Anyway, the guy at the kiosk, he said, I said, I want to get internet. Now I'm used to being in the States, there's a contract, maybe a credit check, you put a deposit down, then you pay for the machine and all these other things. I didn't know how the system worked, but this is what I was working on from my experience. So when I got there, the guy said, the person working the kiosk, the brother, he said, how many months do you want to pay for? And that was very strange to me. I said, what? He said, how many months do you want to pay for? I said, well, how much is the internet? I think he said it was 80 real a month or something like that. This is 2014. So it's about 80 real a month or something like that. So I said, okay, well, um, can I, he said, now you don't have to pay every month. I mean, if you want to pay from month to month, you can. So I'm hearing this and I'm like, I got options here. I said, well, how can I do it? How many months can I pay for? He says, as many as you want. All the time, my wife was looking at me very strange because she's like, "You embarrassed me. Why didn't you know this?" But I had no clue. So I said, "Okay. What if I pay for 6 months?" He said, "Okay." I said, "What if I pay for 3 months?" He said, "Okay." I said, "Okay." I said, "I'm gonna pay for," and I looked at the money I had in my wallet at the time. I said, "I'm gonna pay for 8 months." He said, "Okay." So 8 months times 80 real, you owe me 640 real or 480 real. I said, "Man, no, 640, 480, 480 real." I said, "Man, shoot." Okay. I gave him the 640, the 480 real. I have no internet for the next 8 months, no net, no internet bill. And I was on an unlimited plan. And I was like, okay, now I'm starting to understand this. And every month, it's like my service didn't suffer, my speed didn't dip. You know, I had the same quality speed, the same quality resolution. Nothing changed. I just paid for it in advance. Another time that this occurred to me is, excuse me, you guys, it's hot. Um, when I was in Bahrain, I bought a car. I bought a brand new car and had never had a brand new car before. So I went to the office that was outside of the showroom, and I had to go pay for the insurance. So the guy told me, he said, it was an Indian guy, and I said, I want to pay for the insurance for the car. He said, okay, gave him the registration, everything. He said, it's going to be 275 dinars. Good God, 275 dinar. Now, 275 dinar is a lot of money if you take the conversion rate of 275 at $2.65 per dinar. So I'm looking at I'm looking at very close to almost $800, right? So I said, shoot. But I was making decent money. I said, okay, I can afford this. So I gave him the 275, gave me the insurance card. I said, listen, it's hot out here, man. Can I just pay this online? And he said, we don't have an online portal. I said, so I got to come down here every month and pay? He said, no, you don't have to come every month. Just, you're done. I said, what are you talking about? He said, you're done. So my first impression was this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. My insurance is going to get canceled. I'm going to have a problem. So I waited another month. Then I went back to the insurance place and I said, okay, I'm here to pay for my insurance for this month. And he was like, okay, give me your information. It was a different guy. They give me your information. I gave him my information and he said, it's already paid. And I was like, what? You need to check that again. He said, no, it's already paid. I said, how could it already be paid? I just came in today to pay it. What do you mean it's already paid? I only paid once. That was last month. He said, yeah, it's paid. He said, you pay for the year. What? He said, yeah. And then he started smiling because he's like, this guy clearly is from another planet. He said, yeah, you pay for the year. I said, so you're saying that the 275 that I paid last month is for the whole year? He said, yeah. Man. I said, all right, man. If you say so. I said, I'm gone. He said, all right. I left. No insurance for the whole year. Let me see the third time that happened to me. This happened to me on three different occasions in two different countries and for two separate situations. So there was another one. I forgot what it was. I forgot what it was. But the thing is, a lot of times when you are, especially in the Gulf countries, they want you to pay. When you're looking for apartments, they typically ask you for 6 months or 12-month advance payment because you pay, if you think about it, you pay your rent in advance anyway. Each month that you pay is for the month coming. So if I pay rent on October 1st, that allows me to occupy my living area for the month of October. And then if I want to stay there in November, at the beginning of November, I pay, and then I can stay all of November. If I want to stay in December, I pay at the beginning of December, I stay all the way until December. If now when we're talking about utilities, your utilities are paid in the rear. So based on your usage, right? I'm just kind of giving you a refresher. I know that you know this already. So if you get into your apartment and you have your electricity, you get your bill at the end of the month that says you use $215 of electricity. This is what your month is times your whatever your rate for whatever kilowatt hour you use. That's your thing. So you pay that because that's what you used, right? Your cell phones and all this stuff work the same way. So what I discovered from that is that Arabs aren't necessarily rich. In my observation, it seemed that they knew how to handle money. And so that gave people the impression that he must have a lot of money because I don't hear a lot of Arab people, okay? Um, you know, talking about some of the things. Sometimes, we get into discussions with friends of ours or, in our groups, and man, I got to get this rent paid, man. I'm trying to do this. I need to get an extra job because, it's not enough. I got to get this rent paid. I got electric bill coming up, but then I got to go here. I don't want to take off work. We have money problems. We have money situations, us Westerners, I never heard that kind of conversation coming from brothers in the Gulf region, or even like Egyptians or other brothers that I've met who are from different areas, different countries in the Arab world specifically. I don't know what they talk about in Europe, but I'm saying in the Arab world specifically, I didn't hear those kinds of conversations. And so when you don't hear that and you find yourself the only one talking about that, you start thinking, oh, maybe he's got money somewhere, maybe he's on something. And either I want to get on it, maybe I can hit him up for a loan. He seems to not have a care, and unfortunately, the stereotype of people being from a place, and then because they're from that place, they must have money. It's not restricted to Arabs. I've been to places in Africa. I've been to places in the Arab world. I've been to places in the Asian world, and simply because you are a foreigner in general, no matter where you hail from, no matter what country you're from, your nationality, you'll find that specifically, like when I was in Kenya, there was a price chart that had two rates. It had a rate for locals and it had a rate for foreigners. And it said local rate, foreign rate. That's what it was. And if you're a foreigner, then you pay this rate, okay, and which is going to be a higher rate. So I said that to say that most of the time you find that the people, they have a system in which they can make their money work for them. And I'm going to show you an example when I share my screen. But this is how we have to get ahead. This is how we have to get ahead of the money. Right now, we're behind the money and we're chasing it. We have to get ahead of the money. This will be the catalyst. This will be the vehicle in which you can start to actually save some real money without having to take a second job, without having to do anything to earn any extra income. You just use the income that's already available, and then there's a system that you put in place so that you can duplicate that and you can get that stress off your head. The stress of every month, I gotta pay this every month, and then if I forget, there's a finance charge and a late fee, and then I'm in trouble, and this and that. I gotta make all kinds of excuses. And this is why Rasulullah sallallahu he would discourage us from being in debt, because the dain, or the debt, being in debt, turns people into liars, as he said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because you start lying. You start giving excuses which are really lies. I didn't get paid. My bank machine wasn't working. Something wrong with my card. My wallet got stolen. I was out of town. I forgot. And it turns into a whole thing. If we can remove the debt part, we can remove the stress. And I once I discovered this, I started doing it, and I've continued to do it every time I had the opportunity. And I mean, my bills are the last thing I'm worried about. And I don't make a lot of money. I'm not a wealthy brother at all, but I use what I had and I manipulated that money to such a degree that now it works for me. I'm going to show you the screen. I'm going to show you the screen now. I made a spreadsheet, okay? And if you want it, I might put it on Gumroad or something like that. I might sell it for $2.99. I mean, because I put my work into it, and I created formulas inside of it and so forth. So if you want that, let me know, DM me, text me, or whatever. Okay. So here we go to the spreadsheet, and I left it blank for a reason, because I want to put the values in real time. Okie doke. So good, you can still see there. All right. So what you're looking at here, and I just titled this "Money Working for Me." When you get this sheet, you can change the title and do whatever you want to do with it. Name it whatever you want to name it. But what I did is, you can see here, let me get rid of this other bar. And I can't blow this up anymore because you won't be able to see. Let me see if I can do this. Make it little bit bigger. Okay, a little bit bigger. All right. So if you see up here, you find that we have our expenses column and then our credits. This is where we want to concentrate on. Okay. And then we've got just your typical bills. Now, some of these will apply to some of you, and some of them they won't. Okay. You may not have a sewage and trash bill because it might be included where you live. You might not have a water bill because water might be included. You might not have a gas bill in the sense of like piped gas into your home. You might use a canister or cylinder. It can still work, but it wouldn't be a bill that you get from your municipality, every month, like it would be for people who have gas in their home, natural gas. Okay, net, cable, satellite. Some of these you might have a bundle service, like in America they have AT&T Verse, so they kind of combine, which is a ripoff. They combine, they give you the option to combine your phone, your internet, and your cable all in one package, right? And it's supposedly cheaper. But the problem is it's tied in together. So you got to have the whole thing. Otherwise, when one gets disconnected, they all get disconnected. Okay. So we're just going to kind of compartmentalize these and break these down and separate them. Okay. So here you have what your payment, this is what your payment is of what you pay. And then you're going to have your payment, the total of what this would be if you had 2 months. This one at 3 months, this one at 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, and then the credit you would have on your bill until that part is finished. Now, before I show you a figure, oh, here's the third experience. I remember now. The third experience was before I left the States. It was a long time ago. It was probably right around 1998, 1999. I had to get insurance for the car. So at that time, I was still wrestling with the insurance being haram and this and that. I was not. I had been in this same about 6 or 7 years, but to talk about having insurance and is it halal, is it haram, and so forth and so on. So from what the ruling I understood was that if it's something that you absolutely need, then the law doesn't punish you for something that is beyond your control. So you have to have automobile insurance in order to operate a motor vehicle. Otherwise, you're going to be in trouble. So I said, okay, I'm gonna get this insurance. I said, but and as some of the early man had advised us, get the bare minimum. So I said, I'm gonna get the bare minimum liability insurance. I called the insurance company. I said, I want to get the insurance. So they told me what the rate was, right? And so I asked the lady, I said, well, I don't have that kind of money. I think she told me it was like $720 for the year or something like that. It was over $700. So I said, well, I don't have $700. She said, that's okay. She said, uh, she said, well, no, she said, that's what it costs for the year. She said, you can break that down in monthlies. So I think when she gave me the monthly, it was like 65 and some change or something like that. So I said, well, I mean, I don't have that much. I mean, can I get a cheaper rate? And she said, well, you don't have to have a cheaper rate. You can just have a shorter policy term. So I said, what do you mean? She said, well, you can have a 9-month policy. I said, I can. She said, yeah. I said, can I get a 6-month policy? She said, yeah. I said, can I get a 3-month policy? She said, yeah. I said, what? I said, so can I get a 1-month policy? She said, yeah. I said, I just pay every month at the end of the month. She said, yeah. I said, what happens after the end of the month? She said, the insurance ends and you have to start over again. I said, man, shoot. That was when it first opened my eyes, because I was under the impression that when you get insurance, it's just it's every year, and then this is what you pay every month. I didn't know that those options were available because no one says anything, because the idea is to get your money, as much of it as they can get, for as long as they can get it. That keeps you still working for your money, because now you got to work to make sure that you have the insurance so that your car insurance doesn't lapse. And then you get in trouble, and the trooper is not going to believe you, the state trooper who pulls you over is not going to believe that you didn't know your insurance expired or anything like that. So I think I got a 6-month policy. It was either a 3-month or a 6-month policy. And that was it. And what I did, I paid it in advance. Okay. Some companies will tell you, either because they don't know or they don't want to do it, but it can be done. And if it can't be done, there's a workaround. For every bill that you have, you can always ask if it's a bill such as, let's say, your phone, right? So you get one of those Verizon phones or iPhone 12X or whatever it is now, right? And they say, yeah, you can get a contract, unlimited minutes, blah, 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 blah. And you say, okay, well, I'm gonna move this a little bit closer to me. You say, okay, how much is the phone, right? So they give you a total price, right? and they say, okay, it's going to be, let's say it's going to be $35 a month. Let's say $40 a month, right? You take that 40 times 12 months is $480. This is how you have to think about it. Okay, so you're saying at $40 a month for a 1 month contract, $480. Yeah, but there's associated fees and charges with that, right? Paperwork and processing, finance charge, because it's $480, but it's going to be more for you because they have to wait for the money, right? So you say, listen, I don't want to do that. How much is the contract? I want to pay it off. Some of them, if they understand what's happening, they'll tell you, okay, fine. If you want to pay the whole thing, you need to give us 480 now. Okay, cool. Or or if they tell you, no, we don't do advance payments. Okay, fine. Then how much is it per month? 48. Okay, I'm gonna pay you 6 months right now, or I'm gonna pay you, 12 months right now. It comes up the same. It comes up the same. So what happens is you wind up not having a bill for your phone for a full 6 months to a year. So I'm gonna show you what that looks like here. So let me go up here first. I want to freeze this column. Let's see. Give me 1 second, you guys. I actually want to freeze the row. I want to freeze row number 2. See that? Yep, there we go. All right. So if I come down here to my phone, if I give them $48, oh sorry, if I give them $48, this is what it's going to look like if I do 2 payments. So if I give them 2 months in advance, it's $96. If I give them 3 months, it's 144. 4 months, 192. 5 months, 240. 6 months, 288. Okay, off $48. At least if I can do 2 months, right? Because I gotta pay this bill anyway. That's the thing. I gotta pay this 480 anyway. This $48 anyway. So if I do it twice, then that means I can pay, for example, if I start in January, I'll pay you for January and February. Now, at the beginning of January, I've paid you for 2 months. I have no cell phone bill until March. That's some breathing room. Okay. And what they're going to do, if you look here in the credit they're going to give me, or the credit that's going to be on my bill, is going to be a credit of $96 on the bill. So they're just going to chip away at that credit until it's back to zero, and then I have to pay again. Okay. If I do the same thing, I'll come up here and I'll start with something a little bit smaller. Well, I'll start at the top. So let's say my rent is $1,000. Let's say $1,200. Now, this is assuming you have this, okay? And there's a workaround for all of this stuff. So your rent's $1,200, okay? That means if you pay 2 months in advance, that's $2,400. I know you're screaming right now, nobody has $2,400. Actually, come on. Okay, cool. So let's do this. Let's look at all the bills we have. Okay. Okay, we have 1,200 here. Let's say your electric is, I haven't paid electric in a while. That's I couldn't tell you. I'm gonna say this is summertime. Where I am, it's not really been that hot. I'm gonna say 250. Okay. 250 for your electric. Your water might be around 200. If you have gas, if you have a gas bill, that gas bill might be, say, 125. And if you have a sewage, sometimes your sewage and trash is tied into your water, but if it's separate, it might be, say, $35. I'm just giving examples, you guys, okay? We've already established that the phone is 48. Let's say for your internet, you pay $65 a month. And then for your cable, you might pay your cable, you might pay $100 a month. Okay. So what we want to do is this. We want to find the smallest bill that we can and attack that one first and load up on that one. Because what that does, it frees the rest, it frees our money from that so we can apply it to the next biggest thing. Okay. So if I take the smallest bill I have, which is $35 for the sewage. If I take 35 and I pay 6 months in advance, that's just $210. Okay. It's $210. Now, you might be thinking, how can I pay this $210? Because it sounds like a good idea and it's not that much money. Okay. But what about the other bills? This is what you do. Again, You have to figure out the way to make the money work for you. And the sad part about this is that no one's going to tell you. No one from the municipalities, the people that you owe, your creditors, your debtors, are not going to tell you this because they want to extract. There's a formula. They want to extract as much money from you as they can for as long as they can. This is why they're always offering low monthly payments, monthly minimums wherever you go, right? Small little interest fees at 2.9%, 0% financing for 6 months. If I can keep you on for 6 months and then jack the price up, you've gotten comfortable with the product, you won't mind. You'll be obliged to give me 14.9% because you've already had it for 6 months, you've gotten used to it, and that was the idea to get you comfortable, okay? So what am I gonna do with the rest of these bills? Each one of these bills, except for the rent, each one of these bills, I can pay a percentage on, okay? And that'll hold them off until I can get to that bill, okay? So I can effectively take 10% of every bill. Do I wanna make another column? Let me see. I don't wanna mess, okay, good, didn't mess with formula. So if I took 10% of my electric bill, right? Because that's what I'm gonna do with the rest of my money, right? So I've already paid my rent. I'm gonna take 10% of my electric bill, which is gonna give me $25. I'm gonna take 10% of my water bill. That's gonna be 20. I'm gonna take 10% of my gas bill, which is gonna be $12.50. I'm going to take 10% of my phone, which is gonna be $4.80. I'm gonna take 10% of my internet, which is gonna be $6.50, and 10% of my cable is gonna be $10. Can do that. That works. Okay. Let's see what my total would be. My total. It helps when you know how to use Excel. Do, 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 do. Okay. So my total is going to be $78.80. I definitely can work with that. Okay. I'll make that a little bit bigger. Okay. That means $78.80. Okay. Why does this work? Believe me, this works because if you think about it, most people, when they get behind on a bill, they either can make a payment arrangement or they can just pay, what they have at the time, and then they will carry that balance over into the next month. So paying a small percentage, and I just use 10%. If you can afford to pay 20% or 30%, that's fine, as long as you don't have to pay the whole thing, because you're basically taking that money from those other utilities and getting that first one, which is the water, out of the way, or the sewage. Is the water, sewage, the sewage out of the way. Okay. Once I got the sewage out of the way, that's my lowest bill. That's $210. Now I'm done. Now I don't have to pay this bill for another 6 months, which means that the $35 that I paid, that I was paying every month, I can now save that. So on my 7th month, I keep that $35 in my pocket. 8th month, I'll add 35. I got 70. The 9th month, I got 105. The 10th month, 140. The 11th month, 175. And the 12th month, at the end of the year, is another 210. So I'm saving that 210. Or I'll take that 210 and I could put that on the next highest bill. I hope I'm not confusing anybody. Okay. The reason why I can pay this amount here is because a slow pay or a low pay is always better than a no pay. So you're not delinquent. You've put something on it, and you're probably not going to get a phone call, and you're not going to get a letter or a cutoff notice if you do it like this. You put something on it, okay? And then you're only doing that until you can get around to paying the whole thing, okay? So let's go to the next highest bill. So we had 35. Then we're going to move to the 48. If I take the 48, right, that $48 now, if I look here at 210, okay, or even 192. So I could pay 4 months with the 210, with the $210 I'm going to save. I could take that money, the 210, and put it on the 192. In other words, I can make 4 months payment. Now I have no phone bill, no cell phone bill for the next 4 months. Then I'm going to move over to the next highest bill, which would be the internet, which is $65. And you keep doing that until you've gotten ahead at least 3 to 6 months, if not a whole year, depending on how much money you're making. So if you're making after taxes somewhere around between 1,800 to 2,000, you definitely can do this. You definitely can do this. You definitely can do this. If your rent is, let's say, 1,200, right? That means you got $600 left over. You could take $600 minus, say, 250 for food. Okay, you're gonna have to kind of make a little bit of a sacrifice. You're gonna have to cut some corners. All right, don't order any pizza and get off the Uber Eats for a month. Okay, so that you can go ahead and make that big bulk payment. Okay, and if you keep doing that, what happens is you get ahead. You build a credit. Now you'll find yourself with more disposable income. I'll tell you what I did when I first came to this area that I'm living in now. I did the same thing with the internet. So the internet, they had a special. It was $35 a month for new subscribers for the first year. So I said, okay, cool, that works. So $35 will give me $420 for the year if I take 35 times 12, because I already knew I was going to pay the whole thing in advance. So I didn't ask them about an advance payment, but I did tell them. I said, okay, so how much is the thing? She said $35. That's okay. I'm gonna pay the whole thing now. So I'm gonna send you a payment for $420 for the next 12 months. And I got a pause from her for a few seconds because it stunned her because she had never heard anybody doing it like that. So for the first year, I made one payment in February, I think it was, or February or March, right? This was 2020, 2019, 2019 when I did this, and I continue to do this every year now. It's 2022. So I gave her the 420, and I'm done. And so each time I was with Virgin Mobile. Each time I would get a bill, it would just have my monthly usage minus and then the credit. Monthly usage minus credit. Next month, monthly usage minus credit. So I get an email, your monthly bill is due. You're still going to get the notice that the bill is due, but the credit is there. So just because they're saying the bill is due, that's an auto-generated bill that they send out every month. That's just part of the system. That's part of their process. But when you look at the bill, all you got to do is just scroll down to the bottom of the bill. You'll see that CR. That's your credit. Okay. So my first one was 420 minus 35 gives me what, 385. So I had 385 as a credit. Then the next month I had 350 as a credit minus the 35, and on and on and on. When it got down to the end, I went back up. My price went to the full price of I think it was $75 or $79 after taxes, right? So I would pay 3 and 4 months at a time. If I came into some extra money from something, I would take that and I would put it on the internet. So as it stands right now, I have no internet bill until the end of October. And it is August now. I did this, the last time I did that was in May. In May. So in May, I paid up through October. So we're talking about what, 5 months in advance. Okay. I did the same thing with my rent. Now, my rent, alhamdulillah, is such that I can do that with the money that I pull from that and add that to the amount I save now can actually go toward the rent. So I pay my rent every other month because I pay 2 months in advance. Two and two and two. My goal is to pay the rent and pay the lease off. That's my goal. And because the rent is the most expensive, it's the biggest expense you have outside of your car and maybe your health insurance. So you want to make sure that that's taken care of just in case anything happens. Then you have the ability to, weather the storm, and you can be patient because it's all taken care of. I'll give you an example of how that works. Okay. Um, the place that I work at wound up being closed because the owner got sick. He was sick for a few days. So, but I didn't know he was sick until we actually went back to work. So when I got up Sunday morning, because I work Tuesday through Sunday. So when I got up on Sunday, I was like, man, I really don't want to go in here, man. I was just tired. And I got a text around 10:30 saying, hey, the place is closed. Don't come in today. Yeah, all right. I'm happy, right? Monday, I'm off. Tuesday, I'm going to work. Go in Tuesday. Okay, cool. 1 day off. That's cool. 2-day weekend. Wednesday afternoon, as I had my bag on my shoulders and walking out the door, I get a text. Hey, don't come in today. We close. All right, cool. Cool, 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 cool. I got another day off. All right. That's Wednesday. Thursday, I said, I know they're going to be open on Thursday because Friday, Saturday, and Sunday are our busiest days. So, okay, Thursday, I'm getting myself ready. And around 9:30 that morning, hey, don't come in. We close again. Now, at this point, if I wasn't on the system that I was on, I'd start to get worried because effectively I've only worked 1 day this week. 1 day this week. Now I'm like, okay, I'm getting a little nervous now. You know, I would be getting nervous if I was not on my system. Okay, how am I going to pay the rent now? Because out of a 7 day week, I've only worked 1 day this week. What am I going to do? I'm going to be short. What am I going to do? But because I have my system, I paid, this is August, right? So at the beginning of July, I pay for all of July and all of August. So my rent's paid until October. All right, or September. August. My rent is paid until August, September, beginning of September. So I wasn't worried about it at all. And I called off today. Why? See, all of July, I already stacked that money. I haven't even dipped into that money because I still have money left over in my bank account from the last time I doubled up on the rent. You see what I'm saying? So now what my plan is to double up, and then I'll have enough to triple up from those 2 months put together. Once I triple up, then I got enough money to quadruple or even 5 times it. Because I'm trying to get the lease paid off as fast as I can. The earlier I get the lease paid off, I can relax. If I want to take off, if I want to travel, if I want to do anything, if I just don't feel like going in, I can do that with no worries about the rent. And I got a bulk of money left over because I'm working in between. I'm still working in those months that were already paid for from the rent. So if I paid my rent on July 1st and I'm not due again until September, I'm still at work. So all of July's salary stays in my pocket. All of August salary stays in my pocket until I combine it with July's salary. Now I'll pay 2 or 3 months in advance. I should be able to pay, inshallah, if everything goes right, I should be able to pay 3 months rent when I get my salary, when I get my paycheck at the end of the month for August. Okay, so that means what? I'm going to pay September, November, and December. I'm good to the end of the year. I'm good to the end of the year, and my lease expires in February and it starts over. I'm not moving. Okay, so that gives me 3 months. In 3 months' time, I can pay 5 months of rent because I'm just stacking. I'm just stacking. I'm just stacking. I'm just stacking. And I'm not touching it. You know, I have some business expenses because I run a business online. I have another account for that completely, and I don't touch my regular account. Okay. So I really dip into my main account if I absolutely have to, or if it's for bills or something like that. So most of my bills are paid for within that for at least my internet is paid until the end of October, and my rent is paid up until the end of this month. So I'm cool. The money's working for me. Now I can pursue other interests now. I can relax. I can relax, you guys. And that's where you want to be. Now, that money, I can take some of that money and I can say, okay, now, since I've managed to save, for example, $3,000 in the last 2 months without taking another job, without making another source of income. Sometimes the business that I run is it has its ups and downs. So sometimes it's good and sometimes it's dead crickets, tumbleweeds in the forest, in the desert, quiet. Okay. But because I stack my money like that and I get ahead with advanced payments, I don't have to worry about that. The other thing that stops you from doing, it stops you from going into these contracts where you had to pay a monthly. And my whole thing behind this is that I don't like monthly bills. I'm going to go ahead and cut this short. I don't like monthly payments at all. So if I can get ahead of it 2, 3, 4 months in advance, that's exactly what I'm going to do. Okay. If you're smart, let's say you work a second job. And let's say from that second job, even if you work part-time, and let's say you only bringing home $150 after taxes every week, that's $600 at the end of the month if you just let it stack and don't touch it. What can I do with $600? I could take, let's see, I'm back on my screen here. This is 625. That's 325. That's 500. That's 600. There we go. If my cable is $100, I can take the money from my second job, pay that $600, and I have no cable bill for the next 6 months. Now I can take that extra 100 every month that I paid, that I would have paid, and save it. That gets stacked, right? So I got that 600 still with me, Plus, I'm still working the other job. I'm still working the second job. So that's another 600. At the end of the month, right, I got an extra $100 from the $100 I did not pay on the cable. So now instead of 600 every month after taxes, net salary, I got 700 now because the other 100 is not going out. I'm saving 100. I got 700 now. So I take that 700 and I said, what can I pay next? Well, let's see. My internet is 390. I'll pay 6 months on the 390. Or if I double 390, I get 780. So I'll take $180 from my main job, all of the 600, or say 280, 180. 180 from my main job, 600 from the second job I'm working, put that together, and I could pay the internet off for the next year. The next year. I did this when I was, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn. I'm just giving you personal examples of how it's done without just like talking. Because a lot of people, they talk, but they've not actually done the systems themselves, or they saw somebody do it, or they think it's a good idea and they're sharing ideas. I've actually done this, and I apply this on a regular basis. When I traveled to Africa, I found a very, very nice apartment. All furniture was there, utilities, nice, clean place, in a very nice part of town. I was so happy. The rent cost me the equivalent of $200 a month. You best believe I paid for 3 months in advance. I paid for 3 months in advance. I'm gonna give you $600 now, and I got 90 days of no worries about rent. And since utilities were included, I was winning. I was winning all the way around. When the 3 months is over, it was a clean break. So wrapping up, we want to get ahead of our money. I'll make this sheet available. Like I said, I'll put it on Gumroad, or I'll put it on a Google Doc or something like that, where if you want it, just send me. You can Cash App me if you have Cash App. Just send me like literally $2.99. I won't charge any taxes or nothing like that. Just send me $2.99. I'll make the sheet available for you. The formulas are already there, so you just plug in whatever you want. I would advise you to change anything up here in the top, because that's how you're going to be able to track everything. So the only thing that you need to do is just simply plug the numbers in, right? So now you take that, you plug your number in, and then everything is done for you all the way through 6 months time. 6 months of payments and the credit and all that stuff is already done for you. So anyway, this is how we have to get ahead of our money, you guys. Once we start getting ahead of our money, we can move. We can move around. We got money saved up. And once that money starts accumulating, once you get out of the 3 figures, and then you got 4 figures when you look in your account, you go, whoa, okay, this is real. When I hit that first grand, I got $1,000 extra. I'm not going to go out and go buy nothing. I'm not going to go out and splurge on my kids. I'm not going to go out and do something for me because I've been working really hard. Delay that gratification for a while, okay? When you get to the $2,000 mark, you're like, yo, okay. When you get to 2,000, 3,000, you're not going to want to spend nothing, because now it's compiling. It's compiling, and you didn't have to do anything extra. That's why this works so well. So you may be thinking, I don't have enough money to make Hijrah. The plane tickets cost too much, this and that and that and that. But if you use this system, you're going to come out ahead, because you're going to have that money with you while staying on top of your expenses without killing yourself with 2 jobs, 3 jobs, 4 extra jobs. That's it, you guys. I'm going to finish from here. If you like this video, because I'm going to put this on YouTube, if you like this video and you found some benefit from it, please give it a like, okay? And please hit the notification button to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and that helps, other people find this video, inshallah. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.